So I'm 36 at the taping of this video, and let's look at where I'm invested at 36, because this is how I've been invested for 15 years now. And so this is a good example for younger individuals. So let's use the S&P 500. So the S&P 500, and I'm going to use VU, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. So this is the S&P 500 ETF. So the majority of your assets, if you're younger, need to be in this. But as you continue to get older, you want to transition your investments. I look at it like this. Boom. I'm all S&P 500. I'm really trying to grow my assets. I'm really trying to make a lot of money in the market and in my retirement funds. But as I get older, mid-40s, 50s, 60s, I want to start transitioning those assets to something that's going to be more conservative. There's a thing called sequence of return risk, which means as you retire or when you retire, there's a risk that the first couple years of your retirement, the market is going to do bad. And that could throw your retirement into a whole tizzy. And I've done some videos on how to retire in down markets and things like that. You can check them out on YouTube. But if we are transitioning our investments, if we are anticipating bad markets, even if they don't come, we're protecting ourselves in the event of market downturn. So this is where I'm at right now. But as I get older, I want to have a transition from here down to, say, some sort of conservative fund. Now that could be a bond fund. And I don't know where fixed income is at currently when you're listening to this video. So it really depends on where interest rates are at, what type of bonds you want. Obviously, if interest rates are rising, you want to be in very short-term bonds. If interest rates are peaking, it's okay to be in longer-term bonds, but bonds are considerably conservative. You also have things like fixed annuities, which get a lot of play right now for paying out income. Those are conservative. Again, I'm not trying to sell you an annuity. I'm just trying to give you ideas from a transition standpoint. And there's also real estate, when they call them REITs. Now, you don't want to have all your money in this or this. Even if you're younger, you don't want all your money in the S&P 500. I have a very diversified portfolio. I have the majority of it is in the S&P 500, but I also have some international stock. I also have some a little bit of just individual stocks that I buy just to have fun with. I think everybody should buy some stock to just enjoy. And you want to buy what you know, right? Like we go to Walmart a lot. We own some Walmart stock, right? I have an Apple phone. I have some Apple stock. So you want to own what you know. The transition, though, it becomes a little harder because at 36, 10 years from now, at 46, I'm still going to be thinking growth, 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 growth. But in reality, I've got to start working my way down the scale. And how I like to do it with clients is I think about the rule of 100. So take your age, okay, so let's use 50, and subtract it from 100. So 50% of your investments in this scenario using the rule of 100 should be at risk of substantial loss, okay? The other 50% should be like moderate to conservative and then balanced out in between that. And the reason for that is you still want to try to hit home runs, but you understand at 50, maybe you're going to retire at 55, maybe 60. As you start to land the plane into retirement, you don't want a market collapse to take your $1 million portfolio to $700,000. And so we want to have balance and diversifications. I really encourage you, if you're a DIYer, a do-it-yourselfer, this is a good time to talk to a financial advisor. Talk to me, talk to a local financial advisor, call your custodian if you have Fidelity, Vanguard, and really kind of do a deeper dive into your investments. I think 50 is a good age to do that. My average client is about 50 to 55. And so it's a great time to really start looking at your investments and saying, how am I positioned if the market goes up or down? Really, investing is simple. People always ask me, Drew, you watch CNBC or Fox Business and all these guys are throwing out these crazy terms. I say, listen, investing is simple. You just want to position yourself for optimal growth based on your risk tolerance. And what do I mean by that? I'm 36. My risk tolerance is 30 years. If the market drops 50%, I don't care with my investments because I'm adding money to them, I'm working, I'm trying to grow them. But my dad, at the time of this recording, is going to be 68. He does care if the market drops 50%. And so his investments need to be positioned as a 68-year-old with optimal growth, but based on his risk tolerance. So if I'm getting 20% in a year, the market does 20%, he should probably be getting 10 to 12, right? Because if the market falls 20% and I fall 20% with the market, he only wants to fall 10 or 12%, right? I don't want him to have to move in with me because the market collapses, okay? He's always welcome to visit, but I don't want him moving in, okay? So when you think about positioning your assets, just think about how are my assets positioned based on my age and optimal growth based on my risk tolerance.